Today we are talking about Long Island, New York. And what do you think of when you think of Long Island? Well, Kelly is going to tell us all about it. This is the area she covers, and we're so happy to talk with her today. Hey, Kelly, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you, Jennifer?
Good. I'm
Thank you
so
so
glad.
much. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Oh, thank you so much for agreeing. Um, you know, we want to hear about Long Island, but first, if you don't mind, tell us, who you are and how did you get into real estate? How long have you been in? And anything you want to tell us about yourself.
Um, well, I guess I just went into my fourth year in real
Oh,
estate, and I was in the restaurant business for 35 years. So, it was time to slow down a little bit. I raised my kids on my own, and it was scary financially, and I needed to make sure that I had something, coming in every week. And I do see how these young moms, it's so amazing that they have that time to spend with their kids. And being in the restaurant business, it's really tough because I was going in at 9 o'clock in the morning and coming home at midnight. So it was really hard, but then it was time to get off my feet. I have a bachelor's degree in accounting, and I am so I'm really good with numbers and all that stuff, and I'm really good with people because I was in the restaurant business for so long, and I love to help. And I also was always into like interior decorating. And so I like have that background. And I used to go to the designer showcases too that we used to have around Long Island in the mansions and stuff. So
oh.
real estate was always just something that I loved. It was my passion. And so I finally got the opportunity to just switch my careers, and it's working out well.
I love that because I had no idea you were in the restaurant industry prior. It's funny because I talked with someone, a few days ago who was in the hospitality industry, is where I came from, the hotel industry. And it's funny because anytime I talk to someone who has been in the hospitality, restaurant, hotel industry, I just know why we get along so well because, you're coming from a career where you were serving people constantly, taking care of
Mhm.
other people. And that's what we do in real estate. We are here to serve our clients, take care of them. So it's a really easy transition, I feel like. Do you agree?
Yes, yes. It is, but it's also I'm so used to just being like on the constant move and everything. It's
Mhm.
hard for me to sit at a desk. It's not something that I'm really accustomed to.
Yeah.
So I like to do my lead gen like out of the house. My thing is really like entertaining and having events and parties and like putting all of that together. Like that's what I like to do.
Oh, I
So,
love that.
yeah.
That's awesome. We like to have fun in hospitality, okay? It's just what we
Yeah.
do.
Hmm.
Okay. So you've been in real estate for over 4 years and you love it. It's a totally a different pace environment. You're right about that. It was kind of interesting to adjust, but as far as what we do, we're serving others and it feels good. So let's talk a little bit about the areas you serve. So you're in Long Island. Um, Now, not everyone knows about Long Island. So, are there certain
Right.
cities that you serve outside of Long Island? Tell us more.
Well, I do serve mainly on Nassau. Long Island has two counties. It's Nassau County and Suffolk County. And we have the North Shore, we have the South Shore. So there's a lot of different elements to it. On the border of Nassau County, there's Queens that then goes into Manhattan. There is the Long Island Railroad that we take. My husband works in Manhattan, so he commutes there every day. And on the train, it takes about an hour and 15 minutes. It depends on how many stops there are. So, he's usually working on there. There's a lot of people in the neighborhood that commute into Manhattan. So, but I don't service Manhattan. I just do Nassau, Suffolk County, and just the border of Queens, like the beginning of Queens.
Okay. Okay.
I
So, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean I've been living on Long Island for 56 years, so I
Hmm.
know like every inch and every part of it. So I'm on the North Shore, Suffolk County, like on the border of Nassau. Um,
Okay.
so I'm an hour away from the Hamptons and I'm an hour away from New York City. So I'm like right in the middle. And I'm on the North Shore, so like my beach, I can see Connecticut.
Okay.
And then on the South Shore, we have the ocean and the beaches are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, okay. Well, speaking of the Hamptons, is that somewhere you would serve also or no?
Yes.
Okay. 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 So,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
anyone
it's a
looking for those
great
mansions?
yeah. There are some mansions and then there are a lot of bungalows. So
Hmm.
like a two-bedroom, one bathroom bungalow would probably run you about 800,000.
Hmm.
And so it's yeah, and then there are those mansions out there like Billy Joel just sold his house for 7 million. So
Hmm.
he's which is a little bit on the low side for
I
the
was gonna
Hamptons. So
say,
yeah.
yeah, because
But that
I've,
is one of his many homes.
oh, I see. Because I've seen Real Housewives of New York, and I felt like they were very, much more expensive in the, of course they range, but in the 15, 20 millions, of course, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Those are actually the houses that slow down our days on market. Like our
Mm,
average days on market are 42 days,
okay.
but it seems like everything is selling in a weekend, but it's those $15 million
Mm.
houses that sit on the market longer because not everybody can afford those houses. So I think that brings moves our days on market a bit.
Right. Well, we were talking about the Hamptons. Let's talk about your area specifically. So, what is the median price point that someone could expect if they were moving to your area?
It's $800,000
Okay.
all across Long Island. That's like the average. But I mean, it turns like $1 million house really isn't like $1 million house. I mean, I know like 30 years ago, everybody is like, oh, wow, I want to live in $1 million house one day. And then you wake up and you live in $1 million house and there's nothing to it. It's like sort of like that. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not much, but yeah, it's good. I mean, there are some houses that are 500,000, 600,000. Um, those, I mean, they usually do need a ton of work and
Mm.
but even the rents are pretty high also. So, it doesn't really make sense to rent if you're paying 4,000 a month for a house, like then may as well buy, right?
Right,
Because
right. Well, yeah. My question would be, in Indianapolis, our median price point is 260. How does
oh,
that
okay.
affect first-time home buyers? Is it really tough for a first-time home buyer looking in Long Island then?
That is a great question, Jennifer, and it kind of really just is a little bit mind-blowing because I work with a lot of first-time home buyers. Um, they seem to be making a lot of money and they get pre-approvals for $800 million and like they are buying houses. So it's a lot of both both partners
Sure.
are working even if they have a few children. It's a two-income household. But
Okay.
um but they are buying and it's tough because I mean my first house was $180,000 and that
Yeah.
was 30 years ago, so I can't imagine. It's tough, but the property taxes are also another issue because the
Mhm.
average property taxes are $15,000 a year. So
Oh, heavens.
yeah, and with the floods and stuff that we do have on Long Island, if you're too close to the water, you can't even really get homeowners insurance, and
Wow.
that's a totally other ball game there. I've had buyers in a panic, they're clear to close and they're like, "Oh, they said that it was going to be $5,000, a year for the homeowners insurance and we can't afford that." But I work with insurance brokers that do shop around for them and get
Okay.
them the best price.
Okay, so it is possible. Okay, got it.
Right. Hmm.
Well, then, do you see a lot of, since you have such a high price point, do you see a lot of investors coming to your area looking to invest, or is your area too high of a price point for those people? As far as, investors that are looking to purchase homes for rental purposes.
Hmm. Yeah, there is a lot of that. There's a lot of the Airbnbs and things. We have a lot of universities around here as well. So, we have Stony Brook University and then there's St. John. So, like they do buy in those areas too, because the family also comes to visit for the college students, and then they have rentals for the students. But the Airbnbs in the Hamptons and stuff are pretty popular out there. So,
Okay.
but I'd say a lot of the people that I come across on Long Island are from Long Island. It's usually people are moving out of Long, moving off of Long Island and not moving into Long Island. It
Okay.
depends, there's a lot of snowbirds here too. So I do know a lot of people who move down to Florida, like area in the winter,
Mhm.
and then they stay here in the summer because it's too hot down there in the summertime.
Well, and Florida has tons and tons of inventory. We've learned that. And, yeah, it makes sense if they want to go down there in the winter. So, have you seen a lot of people in your area looking to downsize? So, say someone's lived in their home for 30 years and now they're empty nesters. Are they considered the snowbirds? Are they downsizing and moving away? Are they downsizing into any smaller homes? Or do you have any new construction on Long Island for those people? I mean, you don't have as much land as we do here, for example, in Indianapolis, but what are you seeing?
Yeah, we don't have too much new construction, maybe like out in the middle of the island, out east.
Okay,
But because of the land, or there is or people they just knock down an old house and then
sure.
build up. But the baby boomers are they're out there. Those are the majority of the listings is
Mm-hmm.
grandma's house, and you can tell when you walk into the house, it's grandma's
Yes,
house. It's
yes.
they're the only ones who are moving pretty much because a lot of the people they have 2, 3% mortgage and they want to move to a bigger house, but they don't want to because of their interest rate. So
Right.
so it's usually estates that I get for the listings. I've had a few estates in the last year because their parents have passed on and the kids don't want to pay the taxes and they don't want the house and they're just selling that. But ranches are really hard to come by because the baby boomers they just want like one level house. So as soon as a ranch comes on the market, like it
Hmm.
goes like that because that's where they want to go, their forever home.
Right. And I was talking to someone else. It's going to be probably an issue, later on because it doesn't seem like different areas have enough of those one level homes that are low maintenance for people to move into, like 55 plus communities. They're building a lot of them up here, but they still can't keep up with the demand because that generation or population of people is so huge that's getting ready to downsize or starting that process, either going into those ranches or going into maybe assisted living, those type of things. So I think we're going to have to come up with creative solutions in the future for those
Right.
people, or they're going to have to move, further out, whatever it may be. Um,
Yeah.
so
I mean,
if
the
someone,
majority of the,
oh yeah,
sorry,
go ahead.
sorry.
No,
The
go
ones
ahead.
that are staying, if they're not moving out of state or going down south, they're
Mm.
here because their children are here and their grandchildren are here. So they're kind of like want to stay around that area.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Well,
Hmm.
say someone was looking, maybe someone lives in Manhattan and is wanting to go to Long Island. Because do you feel like, and to be honest, I've been to Manhattan, but I've never been to Long Island. Would you consider, I know it's a borough, but would you consider moving from the center of Manhattan to Long Island more of the suburbs? I mean, I don't really know if that is that considered maybe a suburb?
Yeah, Long Island is the suburb of Manhattan.
Okay.
And
Okay.
most of, like I said, people that are from Long Island have been on Long Island. So after the pandemic, what we saw is the people that are moving out to Long Island are the ones who were in Manhattan, because then all of a sudden they could work remotely.
Fair.
And, why live in the middle of the hustle bustle in a small, congested space when you can have more space in a yard and everything and you keep your job and then move out to Long Island. So we see a lot of
Exactly.
that. Hmm.
Exactly. So if you had a couple, for example, wanting to move from Manhattan to Long Island, or something of that nature, what advice would you give them? Are there any really hot areas right now of Long Island that people are really flocking to? Um, or, what advice would you give someone, if they were coming to your area? Because it's a different way of life than living
Right.
in down Manhattan.
Hmm. It definitely is, but it's also a train ride away. We
Mhm.
have on Long Island, we have tons of restaurants, and a lot of the people who go out to the Hamptons on the weekend do live in Manhattan. So, like they go out there for the beaches and for the restaurants and the nightlife and then on the North Fork out east we have wine trails out there. So we
Oh,
have there's a lot of really good wineries. So yeah, they've come a long way. I think the first one I remember going 35 years ago to the vineyards and the wine was just like okay, but now it's really good.
oh wow. Okay, something to move
Yes,
out
it's
there
fun.
for.
And
That is so
yeah,
awesome.
there's music venues. We have a theater over in Northport. Northport is the town right next to me. And it's a big boat town and it's like I said, it's right across from Connecticut. So we get a lot of people from Connecticut that come here for the day. And they have a theater there that's it's just as good as Broadway. So the performers are amazing. And there's another theater in Patchogue on the South Shore. Um, so you do get that New York City experience. There's the Paramount is a big music venue. And there are like some, famous people that go in there and comedians and musicians. And so we have a lot, like a big concert hall. So, um, yeah, so there's a lot to do.
It sounds like it
Definitely a
has
lot.
it all. You don't necessarily need to go into Manhattan for anything. I mean, you have everything you
Right.
need on Long Island, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Including
Yep.
golf courses and the big Bethpage golf course that Tiger Woods played
Mhm.
on. It's famous. It's right here in the middle of the island. So you have to get there at 6 a.m. if you need a tea time. So it's pretty popular.
Wow. Well,
Mhm.
Long Island sounds amazing, except for probably in the winter. But, if you are watching this video and you are thinking about a move to Long Island, even a second home, an investment property, anything, Kelly is the expert. She lived here for 56 years. She's lived on Long Island. She knows every street, every store, every attraction. So she is definitely going to be your resource. Kelly, thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate you having me. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, I
Okay.
hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye bye.